What's up, guys? You know who it is. Marcus J. Jackson with another Go Live for you. Shout out to my YouTube family. Thank you for the subscriptions, likes, and the comments and the shares. I really appreciate it. As well as my Facebook family. Thank you so much for sharing the videos. I see a lot of shares, and I see some likes and comments and things of that nature. So as well as a lot of views. So I really appreciate the support. This is the Live Life series. All right. I make myself available every night between the hours of 12 and 2 a.m. Okay, from 12 to 1, I am on the video live with you guys. All right. Primarily to reach out to those who are having thoughts of suicide, right? Who are going back and forth, trying to make the decision to stay with us or not. So if you are tuning in at this particular hour, I do it at 12 o'clock at night because between 12 and 6 is those that are in between. Trying to make the decision are that's when it's the highest risk. Okay, that's when it happens most often. Although I've been looking at some other studies, and that time frame has extended from 12 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the morning. It's been brought to my attention that a lot of times the morning time that this takes place as well. So I'm not really sure what the motivation is. I know that life can be overwhelming. So this is a judgment-free platform. So whatever your motivation is, I hope that it changes, and I hope that you decide to stay with us. Maybe it's something that I say. Maybe it's something that someone comments. Maybe it's one of the resources that you find in the description. Okay, so if you need to talk to somebody, right, and you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, you need to call 911. So hop off this video, call 911, and get you some help immediately. If you need to talk to somebody and you need a listening ear as well, National Suicide Prevention Hotline, all right, 800-273-8255. Again, that's 800-273-8255. All right. And they have resources that you can tap into to help you with your situation as well. I've got another inbox about donations, and I'm really excited about donations, and by no means am I turning it down. But on this platform, I'm not pushing donations for Live Life just yet. However, I donate my time to I Speak Foxy. All right, I Speak Foxy is a organization that focuses on helping women and men, women, and children who have been involved in sexual violence, sexual assault, right, and who've experienced that and need help. Sometimes there's emergency placement that needs to take place. Sometimes there is furniture that needs to be given to these people who have experienced this, right? They need toiletries. They are literally leaving everything behind and starting over because of the way things are going, and they want to make a change. It's time for them to do something different. They no longer want to be in the situation that they're in. So Foxy donates toiletries to them as well as clothes, amongst other things, right? And a lot of that comes from, she spends her own time and money to do so. So Foxy is my wife. So the owner or the founder of I Speak Foxy is my wife, Foxy Jackson. Just so you know. What else? I think that is it. Suicide prevention and awareness is something that's impacted me, impacted my life, because a friend of mine that I spent some time in the Army with decided to take his life. He transitioned some time ago, and it was a heavy. It was a heavy. It was heavy. That's the only way I can, put words to it. As always, we try to understand why, but mostly, I wish that I of course wish that he didn't make that decision, and I'm pretty sure his family wished, that he didn't make the decision as well. But unless you've been in that situation, unless, you've attempted suicide before, then, you really don't know. As a life coach, relationship coach, career coach, whatever, I've always been in the position to help someone. And, I want to do that now. If you've clicked on this video, I'm more than sure that it's some divine intervention, divine synchronicity. So please hang on with me for, this next hour. And hopefully you'll find something that'll help you. Keep pushing through to the next day, right? It's if it's 12 o'clock, you've already made it to the next day anyway, okay? So you can always transition yourself. Suicide can wait, all right? Suicide can wait. Allergies kicking in. Excuse me. Oh, man. I feel that sneeze coming, but it ain't, it's like right there, and you can't really just, I don't know. There we go. Okay. I think I made it through. Yes, once again, if you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911, get you some help immediately. If you just need someone to talk to at this moment in time, you can call 800-273-8255. That's the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you want to reach me, you can contact me at 626-7486. I have my phone back tonight. I was able to get my charger, and now I am ready to rock and roll. Let me fix my camera there. Okay. Okay. Let's get into today's discussion. Class, course, whatever you want to call it, talk, right? I got an inbox from a young man who is, he was going through something at the time, that we were talking, and he said that, things had gotten better, things had changed, and so on and so forth, right? And he was giving me feedback on my video, and he said, brother, I think what you're doing is good, but you want to be able. He said you should make the God distinction clear. What he said was you should be able to see God in what you do. And he made it seem as though I was hesitant about, saying, or, he said, it seems like you're hesitant about giving glory to God. And I said, well, I do understand what the God concept is, right? I totally get it. I said, but that's not the basis of the video. Religion isn't, per se the basis of the video. As you can see, it's live life. So he went on to say that, these people need something to get them through the day, right? So I titled the video, I Need Something to Get Me Through the Day, right? And he said, and I said, well, what would you recommend, I give them to get through the day? And he said, prayer. And I said, anybody that knows me, I'm not a big fan of religion. I grew up as a preacher kid, if you will. My father, my stepfather, is a pastor, and he still preaches to this day. And we have had, not really butted heads, but just a difference in opinion about the message that's preached in the church. And not to say anything negative about it. I just I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, back to what the gentleman was saying. He said that he needed something right now, right? He needed something that would get him through the day, or get people through the day. Not so much as everything. He said everybody isn't able to do what I'm saying do, on this video, on the platform that I speak, and I'm like, I just started the the Live Life series, so I don't really, it's kind of, going. It's going good. People like the videos, they share the video, they look at. They view them. So, and I'm not trying to accomplish anything per se. It's just a resource for somebody to tap into. So I wanted to look at it. At first, I was a little bit standoffish, and I acted a little sensitive with myself, and I'm just kind of like, well, why would he say something? If you don't have anything positive to say, then just don't say nothing at all. But it bothered me that he said he couldn't see God in what I was doing. And, and he felt like because I wasn't telling people to pray or that they needed God or Jesus, that he was dissatisfied with my message. So I said, well, I hate that. I said, if you need something that right now that can get you through the day right now, I can give you some things. So he said, well, no, brother, I want to hear it. Tell me what to help me get through the day. Give me something that I can do right now. And I said, okay. I said, well, how about cry? I said that's something that will immediately release, the toxins that are built up inside from the stress of trauma and that stress of worry, depression, and anxiety. That cry. Cry right now, and that will give you immediate relief if that's what you're looking for. I don't know. And I of course I asked him, are you feeling like you're going to be suicidal at this point? Are you trying to make the transition? And he said, no, I'm just speaking for the people that that need help right now. Everything you're talking about is fine, but we need help right now. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and I said, well, it's good. It's good you're not planning to, transition yourself. So I'm thankful for that. But I'm going to continue to do what it is that I do, in the manner that I do it. And I said, I can definitely give you some Bible references, to help out with that as well. So, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird, but anytime you're doing anything to, help people out, you're always going to have people that have a difference of opinion. And, that I respect that, I totally respect that. And, I welcome it. Because this is not a cookie cut society that we live in, even though we try to make it that way. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and you say whatever it is that's on your mind. I totally get that. And I was there. I was there at some point, needed that instant gratification. But there is, there's not a lot that you can do immediately. Like there's a process that healing has to take. There's a course that healing has to take. And that process is very, it's intense. It's just like if you get a cut or a sore and you got a Band-Aid on top of it, right? And, if sometimes, if you just rip that Band-Aid off, you started bleeding all over again, right? It's like, oh man, now it's just like you just got a fresh cut because that Band-Aid was ripped off. But now if you take your time, right, and peel the Band-Aid off, little by little, right, it's probably not going to be any pain, and there's not going to be any blood, right? And you'll see that the skin is starting to grow back, is showing signs of healing, and it gets better and better every time, right? So, be gentle with your healing, guys. Be really, really gentle with your healing, all right? Let me go to the comments real quick. Chat, see if anybody's on. Okay. Lanisha, okay. Good morning. And Novi, good morning. So glad you joined this morning. Appreciate it. Okay, before we get a little deeper, right? We're gonna center ourselves, clear, balance, ground ourselves really quick. Okay, take a deep breath. Breathe it in, blow it out. Once again, take a deep breath. Okay, breathe from the diaphragm. Allow the belly to expand as you inhale. One more time. Okay, this time you're going to reach your feet down to the center of the earth, to the core of the earth, and wrap your feet around it to stay nice and grounded. All right, and relax. Okay. All right, so let's get a little deeper into the discussion. Wow, there's a lot of stuff that I have to cover. If in life, especially when you're looking for something to get you through the day, right? In life, one of the main things we have to keep in our mind that there is a balance. There is a balance to everything that we do, and every experience that we go through is for a purpose. Okay. Maybe there is an imbalance that needs to be balanced, right? You have the yin and the yang, you have up, down, you have left, right, inside, outside, right? There's always a opposite, and just like it's a opposite or difference in opinions, right? So even though, what I would consider myself doing something positive, there is something that someone else sees that may need a balancing, right? And somewhere down the line, having that conversation with this young man is going to help me, right? Having this conversation with me is going to help him somewhere down the line, right? At some point, I'll be able to refer back to the conversation we had and say, you know what, I did learn something from that, okay? So understand that it is a very fine line, a very unique line that we're walking in life, okay? And the way that we maintain our balance is that we have these different checks, these different tests, if you will. Everything that you go through, once you evolve to a certain point, right, you're always going to be tested, right? And that's to make sure that you're balanced, okay? If it's strange because you never know what you're going through may help someone else, right? You always feel like, and a lot of people always feel like, well, all these, bad things are happening to me, and, I can never catch a break. Every time I take 2 steps forward, I get pushed 3, 4 steps back, and, all these things that we consider bad that are happening to us is a balancing, right? Once you get to that point, right, there's a test. The universe will test you, right, and make sure that you are that you have mastered, or you're sufficient at that level in order to move on to the next stage. It's just like school, for example. You evolve, right? After a while, you're in kindergarten to start off with, right? With very, very close supervision, paying attention to how you write, how you color inside the line, and all that good stuff, right? But once you graduate that, you move on to 1st grade, where you're writing your name, okay? And you start to, do a little bit of math, putting 2 plus 2 together, right? So 2nd grade, you're starting to read maybe chapter books or books that are a little longer, right? 3rd grade, you start doing multiplication and division and learning different, other things, because you're constantly evolving, okay? And sometimes, by the time you get to middle school, now you're a little bit more responsible for yourself, and you're changing classes, and you're moving throughout the hallway, as opposed to being, you sit there under that one teacher in, K through 6. Okay, so now you're in middle school, and you're making more decisions, and you may start to play sports, take on a little more responsibility, right? Same, as you evolve, right? As you evolve in more in mind and body, okay, it requires a little more, right? And there's things that are going to come through, and they're going to test you, right? In school, you may run into a challenging course, or you may run into a difficult relationship with a teacher, or a bully per se, or friends that turn to enemies in school. Okay, but there's a evolution that both in mind and body, because you begin to develop, and girls start looking good to you, and guys start looking good to you. Your hormones start racing, and because you're evolving, whether we like it or not, we're evolving, and that's the only thing that is constant, is change. So we have to evolve with that. We have to change with the evolution, right? We can't continue to operate on the kindergarten level, and we're in the 10th, 11th, 12th grade. We're getting really close to graduating. So the childish things that we did in kindergarten, the foundation, coloring in between the lines, and learning how to make capital letters versus small letters, all those things are important. So now you have to evolve as well. Okay, so you get to a point where fear-based belief systems are something that you evolve from. You no longer need to sit in a congregation full of drama, right? You don't need to sit in a congregation that it's a fashion show every time, right? Or there's someone talking about somebody, or someone backbiting or backstabbing, or going into the congregation, or going into a fellowship of people who clearly are display negative energy towards each other, right? And you have to be forced to sit there because you feel like you have to go, you have to be involved, or you have to put up with this because it's a part of your belief system, right? It's a part of your religion. So I'm here to tell you that it's not, these things aren't necessary after you've evolved to a certain point. So if you ever ask yourself that question about, well, Is there something more, than coming to church and dealing with people who are negative and draining, and no matter what the message is, no matter how awesome the pastor preached the message, you're still thinking about what sister so-and-so said or what brother so-and-so did, right? So it kind of takes away from the whole experience, right? So if you're thinking that there's something more out there, and you're ready to evolve, okay, then this is definitely something that is speaking to you tonight, right? It's not you at all. There's nothing wrong with you because you want to evolve, and you may be experiencing maybe some rejection because of questions you ask, or the way you feel, and your belief system may be different now it may be time for you to graduate from organized religion into spirituality, or graduate into mindfulness, right? Maybe it's time for you to get in touch with yourself and find out who you really are, right? And maybe it's time for you to believe in yourself as opposed to this outside entity that we ask to do things for, and we pray to, and and when things happen for us, good or bad, the responsibility never falls on us. The credit always goes to an outside entity, right? So, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to do something different. Maybe it's time for, if you need something right now, if you feel as though you need something right now to get you through the day, right? And you've prayed. Okay. One of my clients that I work with, she said, I pray all the time, Marcus. I ask God and I ask Jesus, and I do these things. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And for these things to happen, and it doesn't happen, or it didn't come through, or I have to figure out another way to deal with it. I have to figure out a way to go around it. You know what I'm saying? Now, and a lot of people would think, well, oh, okay, because you're not waiting on God, or you're not waiting on Jesus, it didn't happen for you, right? It just wasn't in God's will for it to happen for you, right? So, but the key word is, she said, I found another way, or I have to go another route, as opposed to the route that I wanted to go. So if this, if this outside entity isn't doing what you ask it to do, or what what you're praying for isn't happening, then you're going to have, I really don't think God is sitting there waiting for you to, saying, hey, hey, you need to figure out and do something because, I'm not going to answer your prayer. I really don't think that. I really think you have to take action, even with the prayer, even with the belief system, of an outside entity, right? Or a power that's greater than you have the power to do something for yourself, right? And I also believe the Bible talks about faith without works is dead, right? And that may be cliche, but I know that the Bible talks about, you have to do something, right? You have to do something to back that prayer per se. So if I just pray and wait for something to happen, right? And if and nothing happens, I can always blame the fact that, maybe God didn't hear me, or, maybe Jesus didn't hear me, right? And if it doesn't happen in the time that you want it to happen, and you're sitting around waiting 3, 4, 5 years saying, well, I'm waiting on God, well, I hadn't heard from the Lord yet, so I'm going to stay right here, right? It may be time to do something different, okay? I'm just saying it may be time to do something different. Um, it's you're gonna have your highs and lows, right? That is the contract in which you have signed up for, right? There's gonna be highs and lows, so expect that there's gonna be times where you feel great. Expect that, accept that. Accept the fact that there's gonna be times you're not gonna feel so great, right? But nevertheless, you can't just stop and just fall dead right now, right? You you can't. You have to continue. You have to move on with life, right? And I would just invite you to continue to explore whatever it is that you feel that there's a void there, right? And I don't know exactly who this is for, but there is a void there. You are fed up with the belief system that you have now because it's no longer serving you. And it's time to it's time to evolve and step up to something greater. And knowing who you are, becoming a part of the knowledge of self, right? It's probably what you're looking for. All right. And I'd be glad to help you with that. Okay. Life is like a dance, right? You take a couple of steps forward, and you're moving and grooving. You take a couple of steps back, and then you might step on some toes and fall off rhythm and things of that nature. But it's a reason, it's a purpose, because next time you'll remember not to step on the young lady's toes because she's not dancing with you anymore because you stepped on her toe, right? You scuffed the man's shoes that he spent a long time shining, right? And he don't want to dance with you no more because now he's got to go to the counter and try to get a napkin to wipe the scuff off his shoe, right? So little things like that, guys. You just have to be mindful, that these things are out there, and understand that there is a divine synchronicity to everything that we do, right? There's a reason, there is a purpose for every single thing that we go through, right? And I want to share some biblical knowledge with you real quick about what these things mean. Like, for example, because people will say that the principles or the things that I talk about, I don't want you to think that the things I talk about isn't related, to the Bible, because like I said, I grew up in the church. I know what goes on in the church. Okay. So I'm not one that can be fooled or I'm just not. I know what goes on. I know what happens. I know why it happens. All right. So, concerning balance, right? Isaiah 45:7, right? It says, I make peace, I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things, right? So, hold on one second. Got a comment. Let me check the chat. Okay, well, I guess it'll load here shortly. Isaiah 45:7. I'm going to turn to it real quick. I'm going to pull it up that way. Give me just a moment. There. Hey, we're very informal here, so I'm not. I wonder why my feed won't pull my comments up. All right. So, hello, Cora. Good morning to you. Glad you tuned in. All right. So, comment. All right. So anyway, I'll probably be able to see your comment there. All right, what's going on, Linus? When I get through, but because for some reason my comments aren't showing up, it's probably my computer system. Anyway, shout out to everybody that came on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Right, to tune in late night with me. If you have just joined us, right, and you know of someone or you yourself is, on the fence about staying with us, and you think suicide is the only alternative, it's the only option at this point right now, I would invite you to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 800-273-8255. Okay, they have resources. They have people there that can talk with you, listen to you if you need to talk. Okay, that's where you need to reach out to. If you are in danger at this point of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911 and get you some help immediately. Okay. If you are tuning in, and I thank you for tuning in, hanging here with me for the rest of, the remainder of the time. I usually stay on here from 12 a.m. till about 1 a.m. and I'm also available until 2 a.m. if you want to talk afterwards. And my number is 469-626-7486. Okay, I'll listen to you. All right, and I'll give you judgment-free feedback. I'll give you a judgment-free ear. This is a judgment-free zone. All right, so feel free to comment, and maybe something that you comment may speak to another person on here that's trying to make a decision if they want to stay with us or not. Okay. Thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. Share this video if you know of someone that wasn't able to be on or chime in tonight. Share it with them and let them know that I am here. I am available. My YouTube channel is Marcus J. Jackson. You can reach out to me there also. And feel free to call me anytime or inbox me anytime. Keep in mind that I am a realtor during the day. So I'm trying to help somebody either buy, sell, or lease a house. And I'm on the phone all the time. I'm also a life coach. So I spend the majority of the day on the phone anyway. So like I said, feel free to call me. But if I don't answer, please leave me a message. I will call you back. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's go to talking in regards to balance, right? Let's go to Isaiah 45:7. All right, I'm gonna flip to it real quick. There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay. This was actually, this is when Isaiah was going through it with Cyrus, if you guys are, familiar with the Bible. But it's Isaiah verse 45, chapter 7. He said, I form the light and I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Right? So, we have to understand that it's a biblical principle, right? It's a biblical scripture that speaks to balance. So when you say that the things that I'm saying, you don't see God or Jesus in it, right? To me, you're telling me that you don't see the character of God or Jesus in what I'm saying. But that's clearly, if he says, I am the Lord and I do all these things, I make peace and not create evil, right? Just like we have to be, just like Job said, we have to be excited about the things that don't go right as well as the things that do go right, right? So he said, so are we going to, are we only going to rejoice when the sun shines, and be sorrowful when and not be sorrowful when it rains or something like that. But, you know, it's not going to always be a sunshiny day, right? But it is going to balance out at some point, right? And if, like the Bible says, if the Lord is creating all these things, he's making peace with people and creating evil, then we have to trust the universe for what it is. We have to trust that the universe is going to provide balance in what it is that we do. Okay? So you don't ever feel like that you're going through something for no reason. And a lot of times we'll say, because I used to say that. I used to be like, man, you know, I can't believe, you know, this happened to me just out of the blue for no reason. Right? And I didn't see the value in things that happened to me. So of course, I'm not going to, you know, my attitude isn't going to reflect that. So when things happen, you know, people cut me off on the road, or, you know, I'm at the restaurant and the waiter's taking too long, or, you know, things of that nature. You know, I need to be a little more patient, right? So we probably need to exercise a little more patience. So are we to say that, you know, we shouldn't be patient? You know, we should demand our food right now as soon as we order it? No, it's a process. There's a balance. You know, you can't go somewhere and always get whatever it is that you want all the time, every single time. At some point, somebody's going to forget something, right? Or somebody's going to, you know, miss a slight detail, right? That's just that's the way we are. That's the way we're wired, okay? But remember that verse, Isaiah 45:7, you know, I the Lord, I form the light, I create darkness, I make peace, I create evil. I the Lord do all of these things. So understand that there is a balance, okay? So if everything is, okay, so if you're wondering, is everything going according to plan, right? Acts 15:18. Right? Let me flip over to Acts. Acts chapter 15, verse 18. Okay. What does it say? Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. Right? So everything that you're going through has already been set in motion, right? And why is that? Well, primarily, if you understand on the spiritual realm, right? If you've evolved to that point in the knowledge of self, you understand that you came down here under under an agreement, under a contract. Right? In order for your soul to inhabit a body, right? You had to, it's almost like you were in a library or inside this giant computer system, right? And you needed to develop patience, right? So you pulled patience off the wall and, you know, you signed a contract in the patience book and said, you know, in this life, I'm going to learn how to be patient. One of the things that I'm going to learn is how to be patient, right? So by trials and things that happen, with trials and things that happen, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Through trials and tribulations forges that patience, right? And everything that you go through is building your ability to be patient. Right? So if you wonder why, if you ever wonder why every time you go to this particular place, you got to wait 2-3 hours, or you got to wait so long to get a phone call back because they didn't repair the sprinklers the right way, you know, which is something that I had to experience recently. I'm like, wow, you know, I got to wait 4-5 days for these people to get back to me when this is a new subdivision. So yeah, they're behind. Yes, they're underworked and overpaid, you know, but did I take that into consideration at the time? No. I'm like, no, I want to water my yard, so you need to come fix my sprinklers now. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I mean, that's what we wanted. That was my reaction. That, you know, but I didn't respond that way. in my mind, that's how I reacted. That's what I wanted to say. But ultimately, I said, hey, that's fine. I understand. After she explained to me what was going on, I said, okay, that's fine. Let me, okay, I'll wait. I can be patient. I can take the water hose and, sprinkle my, grass with water. I can do it my damn self. Okay. So anyway, make sure that's Acts 15 and 18. All right. So, again, I'm going to read that again. Acts 15, 18. Right? Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. Right? I mean, I can't be any clearer than that. I mean, that's Bible. That's what the Bible says. Okay? So if everything, all things are set in motion, right? Because you signed the contract in order to inhabit this body, right? You're going to go through whatever it is that you need to go through to get you to the point of mastery, right? So when you master patience, then forgiveness is going to come, right? Then you have to go through whatever you have to go through to master forgiveness. And then compassion is another thing you may have to master in this life, right? So if you decide to transition yourself, take your life, before your contract is fulfilled, right? Then you're going to have to come back, right? Because the contract wasn't fulfilled, right? So you're going to have to come back and learn what patience is, right? Because you were impatient, right? According to the program that you pulled off of out of the computer system, right? To load yourself with, with patience. Okay. So, just keep that in mind, guys. All right. Keep that in mind. It's something to think about when, for those of us that lean on biblical scripture and biblical principles, it is in there, right? Things happening for a reason, or it's in the Bible. Okay. I'm gonna go to Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. Whatever God does is forever, right? So, we have to be mindful if we want these things to happen for us, and we lack patience. And there we go. Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. 3 and 14. It says, I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, right? Nor anything taken away from it. And God doeth that men should fear before him. And then it carries on into 15. That which has been is now, and that which has been hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. All right. So basically, that's just saying, everything that happens has already been arranged by God for you to go through, right? Okay. Ultimately, in order for you to get to that frequency of what God is, or in order for you to get to the concept of what God is, right? And you evolve to the character of what God is, all right? Which is ultimately your superconscious. It's your higher form of thought, right? It's your divine form of thought, okay? With the experience of your conscious body, your physical senses, mixed with your subconscious, which is your intuitive abilities, right? Your intuitive experiences, right? That that gut feeling that you have, right? That's what that is. Mixed with your superconscious, which is your divine thought. Those mesh together, create a higher form. It creates the evolution, right? And once you reach that point, there's always a transition, right? A transition in thought, a transition in the way that you do things begin to change. You do things differently. So that transition doesn't happen in order for you to take your own life, right? There's nothing wrong with you because you are ready to evolve to something higher, right? You evolved from wanting something to get you through the day right now, right this minute, and you understand that everything that you're going through has already been set forth. You can't add anything to it, and you can't take anything away from it. That's what the Bible says. Okay, so keep these things in mind. Isaiah 45:7, Acts 15:18, and Ecclesiastes 3:14 about balance in these things being arranged for us to go through. Okay, and the Quran, right? For those that lean on the Quran, the Quran, lean on those principles. Surah 6:17 says, once Allah touches you with affliction, right? Then, it won't be removed, right? Or something like that. You can definitely, actually, let me look that up because I don't want to misquote that. Okay, Surah 6:17, or was that the first one? Okay, 6:17. It says, "Touch thee, if Allah touch thee with affliction, none can remove it but He. If He touch thee with happiness, He hath power over all things." All right, that's what the Quran says. All right, so same principle. All right, different book, different belief system. All right, so there has to be some truth to what I'm saying and what you're feeling. And to help you deal with that, the tendency to want, instant gratification. All right. Let's go to Surah 6 and 22. All right. It says, no, this is Surah chapter 57, right? Verse 22. "No misfortune can happen on earth or in your souls, but is recorded in a decree before we bring it to existence. Before we bring it into existence, that is truly easy for Allah." All right. Oh wow. Anyway, now that's it, right? It says it in the Quran also. So I'm not just making this stuff up. Right, I'm not just, pulling things out the air and not having consideration for people, that quote unquote need something to get them through the day, right? And I wish. Hold on, before there was actually one more, Surah 6 and 59. It says, "With Him are the keys of the unseen, the treasures that none knows but He. He knows whatever there is on the earth and in the sea. Not a leaf doeth fall, but with His knowledge. There is not a grain in the darkness or depths of the earth, nor anything fresh or dry, but is inscribed in record clear with Him." Right? So nothing happens without the knowledge, of that's what the Quran says, right? So we're not, like I said, these things, you're going through these things for a reason, and it is a part of you inhabiting this body, right? Because you're a soul with a body, not a body with a soul, right? Your soul had to, you had to lower your vibration to a point in order to inhabit this body, right? And if any of you work in the labor delivery or deliver babies, when a baby is stillborn, we view that as a bad thing, on the physical realm, but on a higher thought, that baby wasn't able to vibrate low enough, or that soul, that spirit wasn't able to vibrate low enough in order to inhabit this body, right? Because this is the lowest form of consciousness that exists, right? Is being human. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's a balance in what you come to realize in, once you break free of fear-based belief systems and you begin to actually know who you are. So, that's why the baby was, comes out stillborn, because they could no longer handle, they couldn't lower the vibration low enough to inhabit the body. So, it may be, and that may be something that, that your particular soul or spirit signed up for, right? That's what the soul signs up for. In order to learn things, in order to perfect the soul, you have to go through these things. So accept these things, accept it for what it is, right? And learn from it, right? Own up to what you did, own up to what happened, right? And fulfill your contract, right? Understand that it's going to be an experience, right? Understand that it's going to be trials and tribulations. You're going to be tested, okay? But in lieu of all that, understand that it is for a purpose, right? There's nothing happening to you by coincidence. There's nothing happening to you, just by chance, okay? Every single thing is happening to you for a reason. Everything has already been arranged by God, okay, according to the Bible. It's already been arranged according to the Quran, okay? So don't feel like, this is something, this life is something that you can't handle because of the way that you feel right now. You will get through this. These things are temporary, okay? What you're going through is temporary, all right? It doesn't necessarily have to end right now, right here today, because you want instant gratification. Respect the process, okay? Respect the universe, and understand that everything, that the universe has everything lined up in the way that it's supposed to go. In John 3:16, talks about the cosmos, right? The orderly arrangement. It says, "For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believeth in him should never perish and have everlasting life," right? So that word world is cosmos. It means orderly arrangement. It's the Greek word cosmos. That's where we get our word cosmopolitan from, right? Or cosmetology, okay? Because it's an orderly arrangement about the face, right? That's what it means. Not necessarily the face. It can also apply to a city. The orderly arrangement of the city, or the orderly arrangement of a people. All right? It's the arrangement. It's not the object per se, but it's what was arranged for the object, right? So the face is going to be your beautiful face regardless of, if you have makeup on or not, right? But when you get the cosmetologist in there, and they start putting a little brown over your eyebrow, and a little red on your eyelid, and a little, and they match the red on your cheekbones, and they may match the lipstick, and I don't know exactly how it goes, but I know they don't just put the makeup on your face and blah 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 and it's done, right? There's an orderly arrangement. There's lines that have to be drawn. There's blending that you have to do. There's an orderly arrangement in which you make your face, right? And that's a process, right? You got to start with the base, or start with the powder, right? In order to get this beautiful arrangement of colors to make your face stand out, right? To make your lips look fuller and make your eyes more sharp, and your eyebrows arched. And okay, so if we can respect the fact that the orderly arrangement can be done by a cosmetologist for the face, let's please respect the fact that the universe has the ability to arrange our life and our experience here on earth without flaw. Okay, listen guys, that's it. I really appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Thanks a lot. Please share this video. All right, comment. My YouTube is out there. Subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you can get the notification whenever I put a new video up. And once again, if you want to donate, go to the donation link in there. I Speak Foxy, and feel free to donate there. Once again, if you are feeling you've through this, you made it through this entirely, and it affected your life in some way, please leave a comment. I would appreciate it. If not, and you still are on the fence about transitioning yourself, right? Please call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, right? That number is 800-273-8255. Again, that's 800-273-8255. Okay, and they'll get you some help. If you're in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911, right? And get some help. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you. And live life, guys. Live life like there is no tomorrow, okay? And be patient. Be patient with your healing and respect the process, all right? The universe has your back. All right, y'all take it easy. You're trying to do too much. Peace.